Hello and welcome to the Gavel. I'm Terry Ikumi. And what an eventful week it was in the Senate, culminating in a reversal of its standing rules on election of principal officers, which many believe was targeted at certain individuals and aiming to favor the President of the Senate. But let's begin from the defections. On Tuesday, 3 senators defected to the Nigerian Democratic Congress, NDC. They are Senators Victor Ume, Rufai Hanga, and Ainaya Abaribe. Their defections were announced by the Senate President, who seized the moment to throw subtle jabs at the African Democratic Congress, from where the senators defected.
Maybe all those defecting from ADC should just compile everything in one paper and bring, so that we don't keep announcing. Because I think ADC is dead. Senator Aliru, as an elder statesman, the question is, how many times can you defect in a month? Once. But some have done 3 times. So that's why I'm saying, as the spirit directs, it's the voice of the gods. I'm ready to keep announcing, but let us compile all, so that it doesn't look like a daily ritual. Let's compile the names. If you are defecting from Labour, you write all of you. If you are moving from ADC, you write all of you. If you are entering NDC, you write all of you. And then if you are going to Accord, you write. It's neater that way than one name.
Shortly after, the Senate amended its standing rules to restrict eligibility for presiding and principal officers to senators who have served at least 2 consecutive terms. The amendment was the backbone of contention, particularly for one aggrieved lawmaker who raised a point of order, apparently seeking to question the legality of the entire exercise in an outburst that was ignored.
Nothing in our rules allow us to be said for us to adopt proceedings that are not a reflection of what we have been. I have a right to correct. I am asking on the floor to correct, and the chief whip does not have the right to deny me the right to correct proceedings.
Point of order comes after the correction of the votes. You cannot raise point of order. And I've said it, people have been in these chambers for 3 years now. We should begin to know the rules of the Senate. I don't want to be accused of executive arrogance. That's why I keep tolerating these things. Please, there's no new senator any longer. There's no new senator any longer. Let us try our best to abide by the rules here. I've said if you're a policeman, you will wear police uniform unless you are in investigation. If you're a soldier, you must wear the army uniform. If you're a senator, you must go by the rules. Am I right? So point of order, you are ruled out of order.
Now, despite repeated interventions, Senator Oshomole insisted on being heard, and this upset the Senate President.
Distinguished Senator Adam Oshomole, I am now invoking powers conferred to the office of the Chief Whip to order you to resume your seat and be guided by the ruling of the presiding officer.
Senator Oshomole, for the last time, if you become unruly in the Senate, we will use these same rules to take you out of the Senate. So this is the last warning.
Calm was eventually restored after about 15 minutes. The Senate then admitted the President's nominee for Minister, Mr. Tegbe Olasukomi, for screening.
I've acquired Masters in Business Administration from University of Birmingham, Masters in Public Administration from University of Birmingham, Masters in Business Administration from Switzerland, and I'm currently a student on reading for DBA, Doctorate in Business Administration, which is in view.
As long as we continue to do it the way we have been doing it in this country, we'll never get it right. It's to swallow our pride. Call on one of the major successful advanced countries, preferably China. Give them this project of power in Nigeria. Run it for 20 years. Give us stable power, get your money back and move out.
I'm very happy that you have not come to make promises and that you have not told us not to vote you in if you don't generate power. What you have told us is that you're going to do your best. I wish you well, and I hope that with these few words, because you're going to meet, first, the generator cabal. So, when you ramp up power and want to take over, you're dealing with the Agare, and they're going to come after you.
Distinguished senators, I will not stand here and say tomorrow I'll give you 24 hours electricity. But what I will tell you, and I'll be very honest about it, is I will ensure that visible improvement is seen across the country in the shortest time possible. I will commit that we will replace uncertainty for Nigerians with clarity, inefficiency with discipline, and promises with measurable progress.
The atmosphere was more relaxed when it was the turn of Ambassador Shola Enikonlaye.
We cannot be giant to Africa, and we are minions in the eyes of countries that we post ambassadors to. So this is why I said you have to take these issues very seriously. There will be tiny issues I will engage you one-on-one, privately, to let you know some of the areas. But we will work with you to ensure that what has just been approved by FEC is addressed.
Indeed, the missions are in a very deplorable state. Most of them arising for paucity of funds. And in recognition of this state of affairs, a proposal was made a couple of years ago to develop a PPP arrangement that will enable government to better run these missions and generate some funds to run them more efficiently. When you delay a month or 2 or 3, 4 months, it becomes a big issue.
Both nominees were subsequently confirmed as ministers of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Olasunkanmi Tegbe for appointment as a minister of the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Those in favor say aye, and those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Mr. Joseph Olasunkanmi Tegbe is hereby confirmed as the minister of the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Distinguished colleagues, will the Senate now confirm the nomination of Ambassador Shola Enikonlaye for appointment as the minister of the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The appointment and nomination of Ambassador Enikonlaye is hereby confirmed as a minister of the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
During the final plenary session of the week in the Senate, lawmakers resumed plenary with the amendment of its standing rules. Reviving the subject, the Senate's leader, Senator Okpeyemi Bamidele, announced via a motion the rescission of its earlier decision on election of presiding officers.
Mr. Speaker, for the avoidance of doubt, I refer to Section 1, Subsection 3 of the Constitution. And if I have your permission, I will read.
You can go ahead.
Thank you. Section 1 of the Constitution, it's about supremacy of the Constitution, which is the ground norm of the rule and law of our country. And sub 3 of Section 1 simply reads, if any other law is inconsistent with the provisions of this Constitution shall prevail, and that other law shall, to the extent of the inconsistency, be void.
The reversed order 3 subsection 1 had provided that A senator-elect shall not participate in any proceedings of the Senate, including voting for the election of the President and Deputy President of the Senate, unless and until he has taken oaths prescribed in the 7th schedule of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
This is a very straightforward motion. It's just for us to go in conformity with the Constitution. And I thank you, Leader, for being observant, for being up to your game as a leader of the Senate by making this observation. So those in favor of this motion for decision, please say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
The development raised tension on the floor as Senator Adams Oshomole raised a point of order.
We should accommodate divergent views. That way, what one person forgot, the other person will remember. The way we rush the rules, because certain people wanted certain things concluded, is what led to this error. That is just the point I want to make.
If His Excellency Distinguished Senator Adams Aliyu Oshomole, CON, had any problem with the decisions that were taken with respect to the amendment 2 days ago, what he was expected to do was to bring a substantive motion for rescission to be debated on the floor of this parliament.
Some lawmakers clarified their positions on the matter.
What is important before the Senate, articulate your position and make sure that you come with specific recommendations. And we'll look at it, whether it is not injurious to the Senate as an institution and to Nigeria.
Why changing it now? Because you think that next time, because last time, this rule of what term, ranking, that's what you require. And it turned out to be the only one from the South-South, where it was zone 2. So now he feared that more senators will be eligible, which will broaden the competitive base. And now he wants to struck it. If other people are afraid, I'm not afraid.
Now, Senator Adams Oshomole is not letting the matter slide, as he's now gone on to subtly call on the Senate President Godswill Akpabio to resign from office following the amendments to rules which he had earlier sought. And according to Senator Oshomole, that rejected amendment could be referred to as a moral crisis. He insists that the process and content of the changes raised fundamental questions about fairness, eligibility, and leadership ethics in the Senate. He argued that Akpabio, under the new framework being debated, no longer meets the moral and procedural threshold to continue presiding over the chamber. Now, back in the chamber, the Electoral Act Amendment Bill to speed up the resolution of pre-election disputes was considered and passed. And under the proposed new Section 29A of the Electoral Act, all pre-election matters involving National Assembly, State Houses of Assembly, governorship and deputy governorship elections will now begin at the Federal High Court, with appeals going to the Court of Appeal. For presidential and vice presidential election disputes, cases will originate at the Court of Appeal and terminate at the Supreme Court, in line with Section 285 of the Constitution. The Senate also passed the 2.2 trillion naira FCT budget, but not without some observations.
I am not averse to the passage of this budget. We should pass it only with a proviso to the effect that next time, when such a top-notch budget is being presented, it should be accompanied with the revenue profile of the FCT to make it more transparent and accountable.
This bill, having been read a third time, has been passed with a slight proviso that the sources of revenue should be forwarded to us because the committee did not attach with detailed assumptions.
Meanwhile, the Senate has resolved to constitute a joint ad hoc committee of the Senate and House of Representatives to address the rise in cases of xenophobic attacks against Nigerians in South Africa. Welcome back to the Gavel. Let's turn to the House of Representatives now, which didn't have as much of a busy week as the Senate. Now, in the House of Representatives, 17 lawmakers defected from the ADC to the NDC, while one defected from the ADC to the APC. Also, Honorable Bello El-Rufai switched allegiance from the APC to the ADC. And like the Senate, the House of Representatives is urging the federal government to take urgent steps to protect Nigerians living in South Africa following reports of xenophobic attacks. The House reached a resolution following a matter of urgent national importance by Representative Donald Ojogo.
Very much concerned, Mr. Speaker and distinguished colleagues, that the killings came amid escalating xenophobic hostility, with viral videos showing threats, intimidation, and attempts by mobs to target foreign nationals, particularly Nigerians. Disturbed at the targeted attacks against Nigerian nationals is a demonstration of ingratitude, especially taking into cognizance the roles of Nigeria in the struggle against apartheid in South Africa. More disturbed that the trajectory in South Africa is a recipe for anger and reprisals in Nigeria, and there is need to prevent such. Therefore resolves to mandate the House Committee on Foreign Affairs to immediately liaise with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to take urgent diplomatic steps to halt the situation from getting out of hand.
The House of Representatives has resolved to also investigate the alleged debt owed to the federal government of Nigeria by state and non-state actors, agencies and parastatals within and outside Nigeria. This follows a motion sponsored by 6 lawmakers stating that the federal government is striving to pay its debts while it is also being owed. The House is worried that failure to recover these debts will worsen the government's revenue challenges and encourage continued retention of the funds, negatively impacting the economy.
The House recalled that as at 30th September 2025, Nigeria's total public debt surged to 155 trillion 29 billion naira, driven by increased domestic borrowing and currency depreciation. The debt portfolio composed of over 53% domestic debt and roughly 47% external, with debt servicing consuming a significant 47.85% of government revenue in the past 9 months of 2025. House note that the first COVID-19, most countries around the world, including Nigeria, had recourse to borrow and deploy other monetary policies tools to deal with economic challenges. For example, quantitative easing, amongst others. Some of these tools have been effectively and pragmatically deployed by the current administration. A notable effect is the stable and strong position of the Naira over the last 15 months. Aware that while the federal government has been diligent in servicing its debt, less attention has been placed on debt recovery as tool for show-off of the revenue profile of the federal government of Nigeria.
I've done so many of the free medical care for my constituency, ranging from surgery of hernia, eye surgery, and giving of free drugs. And this has impacted well within my constituency. You know how drugs are today, very expensive for our people to get. So what we did was to ensure that at least every month or every 2 months we conduct a free medical outreach, for our people having different, dealing with different types of diseases. So we are going, category by category to do the best we can to provide drugs for them, to provide surgery for them, eye surgery and so on, cataract, and the rest of them. So that we have been doing on a monthly basis. We always bring out some medical outreach to see how we can impact. Yeah, where you have hundreds of people, thousands of them coming out to benefit from it. And the state government is also doing very well in that regard. Our hospitals are now up. We have over 1,000 primary healthcare centers have been built by our amiable governor. So he's doing very well in the health sector too. But ours is to try and augment and improve on what he's doing. I've also provided potable drinking water, especially to the rural areas where they don't have water is a challenge to them. So this we have been doing through constituency projects to identify villages where they don't have water, and also to improve insecurity. We provide solar lights, to ensure that a lot of the villages are lit up to discourage these bandits, from sneaking in at night to go and, kill them. So this we have been doing. We have also been providing a lot of medical equipment, especially for our Federal Medical Center. I've provided an equipment worth 300 million so that, that will improve, the healthcare system, because it's not everything that the federal government or the state government will provide. So wherever we see, gaps within the hospitals, we try to, put it as part of our constituency project. Right now, I'm also providing a mini grid in one of our general hospitals, to complement what the state governor is doing. So there are so many things we are doing, and primary health centers. I've built about 2 or 3 of them now. I'm also providing CBT centers so that some of the local governments, our students who usually do carry out these exams, JAM exams, are given the opportunity. Some years back, they have to go to Kano, to conduct, to go and write JAM. But today, the centers are not enough. So I'm focusing on such areas to ensure that every local government within my senatorial zone has a CBT center. So at least that reduces, the chances of our students moving outside their own local government to go and write JAM.
Thank you.
Aside from that, it helps improve their ICT skills, because after JAM, the CBT center is there. We're building them within secondary schools so that it becomes like a learning hub for computer training and so on.
And that's all the time we have on The Gavel. Thanks for watching. Do well to send feedback to thegavel@channelstv.com. I'm Terry Ikumi. Goodbye.